S. Vyasa, University, Bangalore, Dr. Paul Madanji, Dr. Kamakhya Kumarji, Sri Girish Kumar Avasthiji, respected yoga experts in the yoga sadhak, researchers, and all other distinguished guests and participants from different states and institutions, including from media. I feel delighted to attend this international conference on yoga, the science and the art of living. And again, thanks our organizing team to invite me. Yoga is a comprehensive and balanced way of living, what I could perceive. I still remember when I was a young one and preparing for civil services. I have a lot of stress and tension in 1990s. And that time yoga was not so popular, not so many centers. But one center was at the Aurobindo Ashram near IIT Delhi. So I have a lot of stress and due to preparations, examinations and all these things. So I continuously attended 9 months there. And I am sharing with you that did a wonder to me. I have no stress, nothing like that. And I succeeded well. So I could watch for that before in a big way yoga came. Still, students used to have a way of doing yoga for relaxation, for stress removal and for better concentration and understanding. A lot of things are told about our origin of yoga from different scriptures and contribution of different great scholars and saints of our traditional system. That out of that, I would like to just mention one from our Holy Gita, Yogam Karmasa Kausalam, meaning योग जीवन को कर्मशील और कुशल बनाता है. और I find in practical way that it's happening. When I was a joint secretary in the ministry, certain things where I tried my best to promote. One of the most important thing was that why not to make all these traditional system of medicines, including yoga, evidence-based. We have lot of empirical evidences with us in our old scriptures, ancient books and everything there. But to make the world understand, it's required that we should have some scientific evidence-based contributions so that it is accepted worldwide. It is our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Modi ji, that it has become an international event now, and more than 130 countries now celebrate International Day of Yoga. But still, what we require now, that we should have more evidence-based research, not only scriptures or you can say empirical researches. How? Because once you say yoga as a science, that basically means that it has to be proven on the basis of scientific evidences. You have to take the processes, the way of doing things, and how it influencing the body. What kind of interaction these yogic exercises has with the body. We know this is the impact, but this impact comes in what way? Body, which part, which chemicals, and how it's interacting, it's required. And when I was in Ayush Ministry, we have started 2-3 projects based on that. One is at AIIMS Delhi, where we are a cardiovascular disease. We are basically doing this evidences. We are trying to assess the evidences with IIT Jodhpur and with Tata Main Hospital, Mumbai. A lot of research projects are going on. Not only empirically seeing what's happening, but actually seeing what kind of things are done. This Department of Pharmacology and other departments are also related in that. That is one thing we require in a big way. And if we call it a science, So science has to be scientific evidence-based. Secondly, impact of the impact, we know the impact. If you go for yoga, I told you that I am getting more relaxed, we have less stress. But still, why? That question still remains in my mind. I did the yoga, I did certain pranayama, certain asanas, and that's why it happened to me. But question remains, what process, what internal things happened to my body that led to this kind of relaxation? That required to be done in a way that should be communicated to the world, that it is a basically scientific things. Yoga is not like only our tradition. It is a kind of scientific process that happens and good for you. The second theme is yoga as a way of life. I will just again share one experience of my life itself. When I was Commissioner Navodaya Vidyalaya, there are around 3 lakh students in the hostels. So for their well-being, I found yoga one of the best exercise in the morning. And we introduced in all schools, and they are doing yoga, and really it's happening. And it has a lot of benefits to them. So what I want to convey, how to make the yoga a way of life. In the morning, if you get up, students get up, they think that I have to go for yoga. I have to do asana, we have to do pranayama. Not a scattered way, this or that. It should happen at the level of students at the class 5th, 6th, 7th, so that they inculcate the habit of doing yoga. In case of Jammu Kashmir, you will not believe, being a state, you know better than me, a lot of disputes, confusion and all these things, but still, in Jammu region and Kashmir also, yoga is being done, and lot of students, including Muslims, used to attend. And maybe hymns are different, not what we are doing, but in different ways, but they are slowly they are approaching that it's good for life. So it's happening now. Lastly, I would say institution building and being I think accreditation institution. You are doing the accreditation for different institutions also. Right now? NAC accreditation. So in case of participants, I would like to request all of you, wherever you belong, from which institutions you are coming, kindly try to make the standards and follow those standards very stringently. And institutions are not known because of their ABC. They are known because they have this standard, this stringent quality, and that's why this is IIT, this is AIMS, this is TMH, this is, you can say, IAOY. Your IAOY is also a standard now. In case of other many Ayurveda universities, it's coming up very well. Many private institutions are also coming up very well. But from my side, I would like to just convey one thing. Try to maintain the standards and have the follow it stringently. Lastly, since there are some young research scholars also, maybe students also, for them, I would like to convey you, yoga has a best future. We will be requiring yoga instruction, yoga sadhak like anything. World is adopting now, and they are coming to terms. इतने सारी चीज़ों करने के बाद सबसे अच्छा तो यही है, चलो सुबह में योगा करते हैं, तो आपकी ज़रूरत बहुत ज़्यादा पड़ेगी. इसलिए आप कभी भी ये मत समझिएगा कि हम संस्कृत पढ़ रहे हैं, योगा पढ़ रहे हैं, इसलिए हमारी क्या वैल्यू होगी, सोसाइटी में कैसे एस्टेब्लिश होगी. ऑलरेडी आप एस्टेब्लिश हो रहे हैं. आप डाटा देखेंगे तो विल सरप्राइज कि इट्स कमिंग इन ए बिग वे. सो concentrate your art of learning, what you are learning in your classes or whatever research you are doing. You must be doing with wholehearted, with whole motivation and passion also. that will, after all, it's a world of competition. Among that also there will be competition. Who is the best? That time, what you will be doing now will be reflected. Again, thanks to organizers for inviting me, and wish them all success in the conference. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. Now, in this sequence, doing yoga is basically a living, and adapting yoga in our life, that is an art, and understanding the techniques, the principles, and the practices of yoga, that is science basically. तो सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका यहाँ पर आकर, आपके आशीर्वचनों के लिए आपका साधुवाद देना चाहता हूँ इस मंच से, उत्तराखंड संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालय की ओर से। इस क्रम में आगे मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा जिनके आशीर्वाद से इस 11वें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कॉन्फ्रेंस का आयोजन योग विज्ञान विभाग उत्तराखंड संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालय कर रहा है, हमारे इस प्रांगण के माननीय कुलपति महोदय प्रोफेसर दिनेश चंद्र शास्त्री सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, स्वागत है सर। और हम सभी एक बार ज़ोरदार तालियों के साथ सर का स्वागत
ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु मामवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अधिमंचम विराजमानः एकादश अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महासम्मेलनस्य अवसरे समुपस्थिताः मम समकक्षाः बेंगलुरुतः समुपस्थितः आगतः श्रीमन्तः डॉक्टर N.K. मंजुनाथ महाभागाः कुलपति एस व्यास यूनिवर्सिटी बेंगलुरु। अस्मिन्नेव क्रमे समुपस्थितः पॉल मदान महाभागाः भारत सर्वकारे फॉर्मर ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी रूपे कार्यं कृतवन्तः। आयुष विभागे अद्य चीफ गेस्ट मुख्य अतिथित्वेन अत्र शोभायमानाः सन्ति। सपत्नीकः अत्र विराजन्ते अर्धनारीश्वर रूपे श्री B.K. सिंह महानुभावाः। अस्य विश्वविद्यालयस्य मम सहयोगिनः यथा कथितं मंजुनाथ महाभागेन कुलसचिव महाभागानां विषये मम कुलसचिव मम विश्वविद्यालयस्य अस्माकं विश्वविद्यालयस्य कुलसचिव पदं ये पदे शोभायमानाः सन्ति श्रीमन्तः अवस्थी महाभागाः। येषां सहयोगेन सर्वाणि कार्याणि भवन्ति अस्मिन् विश्वविद्यालये। अस्य 11th इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस इत्यस्य ये मुख्य संयोजकाः सन्ति, येषां नेतृत्वे 6 पुस्तकानां गणना कृता मया, 6 पुस्तकानां लेखनं कृतं, और तेषां विमोचनमपि यत्र मंजुनाथ महाभागेन सह एव सर्वैः कृतवन्तः। एवं विधा अस्माकं फैकल्टी योग विभागे ये सन्ति डॉक्टर कामाख्या कुमार महाभागाः, येषां प्रतिष्ठा योगक्षेत्रे अद्भुतम् अस्ति। संयोजकत्वेन अत्र विराजमानाः सन्ति ये अपि प्रसिद्धलेखकाः योग विषयमधिकृत्य लिखन्ति। डॉक्टर सुधांशु वर्मानः मम पुरस्तात् उपमञ्चं समुपस्थितः डॉक्टर प्रद्युम्न सिंह महाभागाः अस्य विश्वविद्यालयस्य शोधकर्मणि निरतः आसन्, परन्तु वर्तमाने ते डॉक्टर इति पदवीं लब्धवन्तः। अस्माकं नोटियाल्, अस्माकं विद्यार्थी सम्प्रति डॉक्टर नोटियाल् रूपेण विराजमानः सन्ति। देवसंस्कृति विश्वविद्यालये कार्यं कुर्वन्, देवसंस्कृति विश्वविद्यालयस्य ये फैकल्टी मेंबर रूपेण अत्र विराजमानाः सन्ति डॉक्टर कामता साहू, डॉक्टर अजय भारद्वाज महाभागाः। अन्ये ये अत्र उपस्थिताः सन्ति अभिधानं गृहीत्वा नामोच्चारणं कर्तुम् अहं क्षमः नास्मि, यतोहि अहं तेषां नामानि नैव जानामि। अतः सर्वैः आहत्य प्रणम्य अहं स्वकीय मनोगतवाञ्छिः सर्वेषां ये च ऑनलाइन माध्यमेन आभासीय पटले अपि ये संयुक्ताः सन्ति तानपि अहं मनसि निधाय विश्वेशं विधाय गुरुवन्दनम् अहं स्वकीयं मनोगतवाञ्छिं भवतां सर्वेषां पुरस्तात् प्रस्तौमि। क्योंकि ये संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालय है तो संस्कृत में थोड़ा सा उद्बोधन तो होना चाहिए। अस्मात् कारणात् इस कारण से मैंने थोड़ा सा परिचय दिया। देखिए, ये 11वां अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जो सम्मेलन है और उसकी जो थीम है आपकी योग, द साइंस एंड द आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग। मैंने मंजुनाथ जी का पूरा आर्टिकल पढ़ डाला, जो आपने जो आर्टिकल्स लिए ना मैंने पूरा पढ़ डाला, मेरे बिल्कुल उतर गया जो है ये एक दृष्टि से मैंने देखा जो है। अच्छे स्कॉलर हैं आप का, लेकिन मैंने पहली बार आपका आर्टिकल देखा। मैं ऐसा सोचता हूँ कि ज्ञानान्वितम आचरणम विज्ञानम भवति। जो नॉलेज आपको है, जो ज्ञान है, यम, नियम, आसन, प्राणायाम, प्रत्याहार, धारणा, ध्यान, समाधि, जब आपके जीवन में आ जाता है, वो ज्ञान परिलक्षित होता है, तो उसको विज्ञान बोलते हैं। ज्ञान आचरण के बिना शून्य है। जो है ज्ञान की परिणति आचरण में यदि होती है तो वह प्रत्येक शब्द विज्ञान बनता है। और इस योग पद्धति को ज्ञान के रूप में सिस्टमैटिकल ढंग से जो वेदों से प्रारंभ हुई, महानुभाव आपने लिखा ऋग्वेद में मिलता है, आपने लिखा इसमें, तो मैं ऋग्वेद से ही प्रारंभ करूंगा। और पॉल साहब सूर्योदय के पश्चात नहीं उठते, सूर्योदय से पहले उठते हैं। तो देखिए, सूर्य इसका देवता है। द सब्जेक्ट मैटर ऑफ दिस मंत्र, प्रतिपाद्य विषय इज सूर्य। गायत्री मंत्र से अपि उच्चारणम अजातम जातम तत्र तस्य सविता देवता अस्ति। सविता सूर्यस्य, सूर्य का एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम है। सूर्य के बहुत सारे टाइम हैं, उसमें जो एक टाइम है वो सविता है। जब आकाश में उजाला हो, पृथ्वी पर अंधेरा हो, उसको सविता पीरियड बोलते हैं। और जब आगे बढ़ता है तो उसका उषस काल होता है, जबकि वो आप आकाश में जो लालिमा देखते हैं वो उसका क्या है, उषा काल है। और जब प्रकट हो जाता है तो वह सूर्य है, सूर्योदय है, सनराइज जो है। तो सनराइज से पहले की जो सेकंड लास्ट जो स्टेज है उसका नाम सविता है। और ये गायत्री मंत्र है, इसका उच्चारण उसी काल में यदि हम करेंगे तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा उसका लाभ विज्ञान के रूप में जो वे गायत्री की जो प्रज्ञा की जो साधना है, जो योग है, वो जो फलीभूत होगा। ये हमने अपने जीवन में देखा है इसको जो है ये। अब विशेषकर रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स को और विद्यार्थियों को तो इस सविता पीरियड में गायत्री की जरूर साधना करनी चाहिए। जो विषय उसको याद नहीं होता है वो विषय भी उसे याद हो जाएगा जो है। ये प्रत्यक्ष अनुभव की बात हमने आपको बताई। तो आपने महोदय लिखा है इसमें रेफरेंस जो सबसे पहले प्राप्त हुए हैं वो जो ऋग्वेद में हुए हैं, जो संदर्भ रेफरेंसेज हैं। तो एक रेफरेंस मुझे याद आया तो मैंने नोट किया इसको जो है, और इसका सब्जेक्ट मैटर सूर्य है और इसका जो ऋषि है वो गौतम है। अब कमाल की देखिए संयोग किस तरह से बैठता है। तो देखिए मैं इसमें से अंतिम पंक्ति को पकड़ूंगा, फिर आपके सामने जो योगा द साइंस एंड द आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग, ये अपना आप प्रकाश पड़ेगा इस पर जो है। हंस है शुचिसत वसुदंतरिक्षद होता वेदिशत अतिथिर दुरोणसद नृषद वर्षद ऋतसद व्योमसद अबजा गोजा ऋतजा अद्रिजा ऋतम। ये ऋग्वेद का मंत्र है, चतुर्थ मंडल के 40वें सूक्त का है और 5वां मंत्र है जो ये। अब इसमें पूरे मंत्र को तो मैं कहूँगा तो फिर ये पूरा समय लग जाएगा, परंतु मैं इसके जो शब्द हैं वो है अबजा गोजा ऋतजा और अद्रिजा ऋतम। तो मैं इन 4 शब्दों को आपके समझ रखूंगा। ये आपका जो पूरा सब्जेक्ट है योगा एज आर्ट एंड साइंस ऑफ लिविंग जो है स्पष्ट हो जाएगा। देखिए आप, मंजुनाथ जी ने लिखा 5000 वर्ष पूर्व, ये तो जो है ओल्डेस्ट स्क्रिप्चर है हमारा जो है ये, उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ। अभी पातंजल योग नहीं आया है, ये कई धाराएं योग की हैं। तो ये जहाँ से इसका सोर्स है, सोर्स में उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ। तो क्या कहा उसमें, उन्होंने कहा कि आपको गोजा होना चाहिए, आपका अपनी इंद्रियों पर कंट्रोल होना चाहिए। गो माने इंद्रियां जो है। अब गो का मतलब बहुत सारी हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पर विद रेफरेंस टू द कंटेक्स्ट जब हम बात करते हैं तो इसका मतलब है इंद्रियां। अब आप देखिए यम नियम दोनों को उठा करके देख लीजिए आप जो ये, एक सामाजिक दृष्टि से अहिंसा सत्य अस्तेय आदि, और एक इंडिविजुअल है शौच संतोष तप स्वाध्याय ईश्वर प्रणिधान। ये सारा का सारा सिस्टम अपनी इंद्रियों को प्योर करने के लिए है जो है। तो ऋग्वेद का ऋषि गौतम कहता है, वामदेव कहते हैं, बहुत बड़े ऋषि हैं, कि गोजा हमारी इंद्रियों पर जो है कंट्रोल होना चाहिए। कंट्रोल होना चाहिए, सबसे पहली शर्त योग की ये है। यदि आप इसको विज्ञान में परिवर्तित करना चाहते हो, आपकी इंद्रियां, मन अभी बाद में, मन तो 11वां, ये तो मनसाराम है, ज्ञानेंद्रियों के साथ में सेंसेस के साथ में मिलता है तो भी बन जाता है, कर्म इंद्रियों के साथ जाता है तो भी बन जाता है। कहता है आपकी जो ये पंच ज्ञानेंद्रियां हैं इस पर कंट्रोल होना चाहिए जो है, मन अपने आप कंट्रोल हो जाएगा। और दूसरा कहा उन्होंने कि अबजा, अप कहते हैं कर्मों को जो है, वैदिक भाषा है ये, वैदिक भाषा। अप माने कर्म, अप माने जल भी होता है, आपो भवन्तु पीतये। अप माने अबजा, आपके कर्म कैसे होने चाहिए जो है। आप महोदय कह रहे थे योग है कर्म सु कौशलम, आपने एक वाक्य बोला श्रीमद् भगवद गीता का जो है ये, आपके कर्म कैसे होने चाहिए। अब आपको ये कहेगा मैं तो यूक्रेनी हूँ, एक कहेगा मैं रसियन हूँ, एक कहेगा मैं पैलेस्टाइन का हूँ, एक कहेगा कि मैं इजरायली हूँ, जूस हूँ। तो किसका कौन सा कर्म जो है वो ठीक मानेंगे आप। एक को तो मारने में आनंद आता है, एक को तो जो है गर्दन काटने में जो है गॉड की प्राप्ति होती है, एक गर्दन कटवाने में उसको जो है मोक्ष की प्राप्ति होती है। कर्म की क्या आपको क्या मानक हैं, क्या मानक है आपके पास जो कि अच्छा कर्म ये है। तो ऋषियों ने एक हमको एक पैमाना दिया। मैथमेटिक्स में जब हम जो है अपने क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करते हैं तो एक हमको की मिली होती है कि हम ये जांच लेते हैं कि हमारा प्रश्नोत्तर ठीक है या गलत है जो है। तो वो की ऋषियों ने हमको दी जो है, आत्मन है प्रतिकूलानी परेशान ने समाचरेत। कि मुझको जो बुरा लगता है वो बुरी बातें मैं दूसरे के साथ में न करूं। यही है अपजा, यही है अपजा जो है, ये अपजा यही है। अब करके देख लीजिए इसको जो है ये, कि मेरे प्रति लोग अच्छा व्यवहार करें परंतु मैं दूसरों के साथ में अच्छा व्यवहार न करूं। यही पूरी दुनिया के अंदर जो है हो रहा है। लेकिन भारतीय मनीषा वामदेव गौतम ऋषि कहते हैं आपको अपने कर्म कैसे करने चाहिए, वो सत्कर्म होना चाहिए। आपके ऊपर जो घटता है वो यदि बुरा लगता है तो दूसरों के प्रति वैसा आचरण आपको बिल्कुल नहीं करना चाहिए। इसलिए योग दर्शन की व्यास कमेंट्री में वेद व्यास ने लिखा है सर्वथा सर्वदा सर्वभूतानां अनभिद्रोहा, कि सर्वथा सर्वदा सब प्रकार से सब कालों में, नॉट ओनली फॉर ह्यूमन बीइंग, नॉन ह्यूमन बीइंग के लिए भी है कि उनके प्रति आपको वैर भाव नहीं रखना। ये है जीवन जीने की कला जो है ये। तो ये है आपका अबजा जो है। तो दो स्टेप आपके हो गए, आपके गोजा हो गया और अपजा हो गया। और तीसरा है ऋतजा। ऋत वैदिक भाषा में सत्य का विपरीत अनृत होता है, परंतु दोनों पद अथर्ववेद के अंदर भूमि सूक्त में पहले मंत्र में है, ये आता है सत्यम बृहद ऋतम उग्रम दीक्षा तपो ब्रह्म यज्ञ पृथ्वी धारयंती, कि सत्य भी है और ऋत भी है। और ऋग्वेद के अघमर्षण सूक्त में सेकंड लास्ट जो हिम है ऋतंच सत्यंचा भी धात तपस्व अध्यजात। महाराज मैं इसलिए ऋग्वेद का कोट कर रहा हूं क्योंकि आपने उसमें लिखा है योग के विषय, आपका मूल वक्तव्य था जो ये। तो ये जो ऋत है ये यूनिवर्सल ट्रुथ है, यूनिवर्सल ट्रुथ। यूनिवर्सल ट्रुथ के विपरीत कोई थिंकिंग आपकी नहीं होनी चाहिए जो ये। सुख दुख, लाभ हानि, जय पराजय, जन्म मृत्यु, ये क्या है? ये जुड़े हुए हैं। ये जिसका जन्म हुआ है उसकी मृत्यु निश्चित है। इट इज डिसाइडेड, गॉड हैज डिसाइडेड, इट इज ए ऋत। क्यों? अब इस पे एग्जाम्पल आ जाएगा तो वो सत्य बन जाएगा। मेरे दादाजी ने जन्म लिया अतः वो मृत्यु को प्राप्त हुए, यह है सत्य जो है। जब उसमें घटना आ जाएगी तो वह ऋत बन जाए, वो सत्य बन जाएगा। इसलिए ऋत और सत्य का संबंध है, मात्र सिद्धांति नहीं अपितु वो आचरण में आना चाहिए। यह है सत्य जो है। तो ऋत और सत्य दोनों मिले हुए हैं, परंतु इसमें सूक्ष्म भेद है। और इसको बहुत से स्कॉलर्स ने, डॉक्टर भगवान दास ने, काशी के बहुत बड़े पंडित हुए हैं डॉक्टर भगवान दास, इन्होंने इसको रिवर्सेबल ट्रुथ कहा है जो है, रिवर्सेबल ट्रुथ। परंतु रिवर्सेबल ट्रुथ तो है ही, जन्म के बाद मृत्यु, मृत्यु के बाद जन्म, ये निरंतर चक्र चलता रहता है। और इससे छूटना ही महोदय वो क्या है कि इससे नॉन ड्युअलिटी का जो अनुभव करना है, आत्म साक्षात करना है, जो अल्टीमेट फ्रीडम है, जो शब्द आपने दिया अल्टीमेट फ्रीडम, अर्थात जो मुक्ति जिसको बोलते हैं, मोक्ष जिसको बोलते हैं, यही तो इस खोल में बैठी हुई कॉन्शियसनेस जो जीवात्मा, इसका उद्देश्य है। जो हमको ये खोल मिला, ह्यूमन बॉडी मिली, आपको मिली, हमको मिली, चाहे स्त्री की मिली चाहे पुरुष की मिली, इसका उद्देश्य सबसे बड़ा ये है, इसी से ही छूटना है हमको जो है। ये बार बार हम आ रहे हैं, बार बार जन्म ले रहे हैं, बार बार मृत्यु को प्राप्त कर रहे हैं। इसलिए ये मात्र भोग योनि नहीं है, ये कर्म योनि है। इसलिए योग का संबंध कर्म के साथ में है। अब जितने भी योग करोगे उनके साथ में यदि संबंधित कर्म नहीं है तो योग नहीं है। योग का मतलब है आपको अच्छे रास्ते पर चलना जो है, और रास्ता क्या है? विद रेफरेंस टू द कंटेक्स्ट वो होना चाहिए जो है। यदि विद्यार्थी का योग क्या होगा? यूनिवर्सिटीज में, कॉलेजेस में, अपने विभागों में बैठ करके संबंधित नियम का पालन करना, ये उसका जो है योग है। और फैकल्टी मेंबर्स को अपने आचरण में उस विद्या को परिलक्षित कराते हुए अपने छात्रों में वो उसको जोड़ना, उसको अपने छात्रों को उसके साथ में कनेक्ट करना जो है, ये गुरुओं का जो है योग है। और प्रशासक का भी ये है सब पर समान दृष्टि से व्यवहार करते हुए जो है ये इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ऊपर लेकर के जाएं। और यही जब स्टेट में आता है, जब देश में आता है, तो वह भी राष्ट्र योग बन जाता है, उसको राष्ट्रभृत बोलते हैं। तो ये प्रत्येक क्षेत्र में ये योग घटता है। ये जो वामदेव गौतम ने कहा जो है ये परंपरा जो है पतंजलि ने उसको एक धारा के अंदर बांध दिया। जो ये जैसे कि गंगा की बहुत सी धाराएं हैं, जो भागीरथी है, अलकनंदा है आदि करके, और फिर देवप्रयाग में आकर के मिल जाती हैं, ऋषिकेश के माध्यम से हरिद्वार होते हुए, प्रयागराज होते हुए और गंगा सागर तक पहुंच जाती हैं। जो ये बहुत सी धाराएं हैं। तो वामदेव की धारा को मैं आपके समक्ष रख रहा हूं। तो उन्होंने तीसरा स्टेप दिया हमको जो है वो ऋतजा, जो यूनिवर्सल ट्रूथ है, अर्थात प्राकृतिक नियमों के विपरीत आचरण न करना, सूर्योदय के पश्चात नहीं सोना, जो है ये है ऋतजा। जो है ये सनातन वैदिक धर्म में उदयंतम अस्तमयांतम आदित्यम अभिध्यायन, ये षड्विंश ऋषि ने दिया है। जो है उदय होते हुए और अस्त होते हुए जब सूर्य का हम ध्यान करते हैं, वो योग की स्थिति बनती है। जो है इस भारतीय मनीषा ने इसका ध्यान रखा, और सनातन हिंदू धर्म में जब इसको तोड़ा तो सब लोग आलसी हो गए, प्रमादी हो गए, और मानसिक स्थिति उनकी जो है खराब हो गई। इसलिए आपस में जो है लड़ाई झगड़ा करने लगे। जो आप करके तो देखो, आप जो है ये आप सूर्योदय से पहले जगो या सूर्योदय के साथ साथ जग जाओ। आप जो है ये ऋषियों की बहुत बड़ा विज्ञान हमको दिया हुआ है। उपत्वाग्ने दिवे दिवे दोषावस्तर धिया वयम नमो भरंत एमसी, ये ऋग्वेद के पहली हिम में, ऋग्वेद की पहली हिम है ये। उपत्वाग्ने दिवे दिवे दोषावस्तर धिया वयम, प्रत्येक दिन हमको जो है नमो भरंत अर्थात जो प्रणाम है वो करना है। जो है दोनों कालों में बैठ करके, प्रातः प्रातः गृह पतिर्नो सायं सायं सोमनस्य दाता, सायं सायं गृह पतिर्नो प्रातः प्रातः सोमनस्य दाता। ये वेद मंत्र अथर्ववेद के हैं। जो ये कि प्रातः काल बैठ करके जब ये चिंतन करेंगे तो आपका ओरा शाम तक बना रहेगा। ओरा कहा उसको जो है सोमनस, हार्मनी जिसको बोलते हैं, ये अपने जीवन में ही नहीं, ये सोशल लाइफ में भी हमको दिखाई देगी। और शाम को बैठ करके जो हम करते हैं, पूरी रात जो है ओरा हमारा बना रहता है। ये है हमारा वामदेव ऋषि का चिंतन, ये हमारे ऋषियों का चिंतन जो मैं आपके समक्ष रख रहा हूँ। जो है और फिर अगला है जो इसमें दिया है सिद्धांत इन्होंने ऋतजा के बाद में, फिर है अद्रिजा। अद्रिजा, आप हिमालय की तरफ ही क्यों भागते हैं? जो ये एक प्रश्न पैदा होता है, क्यों भागते हैं? इसलिए भागते हैं कि उपवरे गिरिणाम संगमे च नदीनाम धिया विप्रो अजायत। धिया विप्रो, धारणा, ध्यान है, समाधि, धिया विप्र, विप्रत्व, इंद्रत्व की प्राप्ति होती। इंद्र इसका देवता है, ये आत्मा इंद्र है। ये इंद्र आत्मा विप्रत्व को अर्थात उच्चता को प्राप्त करता है। वी भी है और प्र भी है, दोनों उपसर्ग हैं। जो है ये वो विशिष्ट प्रकर्ष स्थिति को प्राप्त करता है वो आत्मा। कहाँ? पर्वतों की उपत्यका अर्थात तलहटी में, और नदियों के संगम पर जो है ये, जिनको प्रयाग बोलते हैं। प्रयाग वहीं होते हैं जहाँ पर एक से दो धाराओं का जो है मिलन होता है। जैसे आपके कर्नाटक में बेंगलुरु से जब मैसूर के रास्ते जाते हैं, वहाँ पर भी एक संगम है जो है ये, कावेरी के साथ संगम होता है, मैंने देखा है उसको। जो है ये तो ये विशिष्ट स्थान है। इसलिए अद्रि पे, क्योंकि वहाँ पर जो मैं पढ़ रहा था, इसमें जो गुफाओं में बैठ करके ऋषि तपस्या करते थे, तो प्राण शक्ति का क्षरण कम होता है। नारायण स्वामी जी ने अपने उपनिषदों की कमेंट्री में लिखा है कि वहाँ पर प्राण शक्ति का क्षरण कम होता है, इसलिए गुफाओं में बैठ करके जो है ये सारी एक्सरसाइज करते थे। इसलिए ये कंसेप्ट हमें ऋषियों ने दिया। और पर्टिकुलर जो है जो हमारे मंदिर बने होते थे, आज तो जगह जगह मंदिर खोल दिए, मैं उस पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करूँगा, ये मेरा विषय भी नहीं है, परंतु ये ध्यान रख लेना, मंदिरों बनाने की एक पूरा आर्किटेक्चर था, और उसका जो एक स्थान होता था, ये मेडिटेशन के बहुत बड़े सेंटर हुआ करते थे। जो ये मेडिटेशन के जो है ये, इसलिए यदि जो वहाँ नहीं जा सकता तो वहाँ ऊर्जा को एकत्रित इसी तरह की बनावट होती थी, और अपनी ऊर्जा के साथ में उस ऊर्जा को जोड़ते थे शिखा के माध्यम से, इसलिए उसमें गांठ बांधते थे। जो ये ऋषियों ने कितनी बड़ी चीज़ हमको दी है, और इस भौतिक संसार में हमने छोड़ दिया। इसलिए इन कॉन्फ्रेंसेस का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। और संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालय के अंदर ये हो रहा है, ये देख करके मुझे बहुत प्रसन्नता का अनुभव हो रहा है। जो ये कहने को मेरे पास में बहुत कुछ है, आपके साथ और बोल सकता हूँ, परंतु समय बहुत कम है। मैं इस विश्वविद्यालय के अंदर आप लोग आए और आप इसमें प्रतिभाग कर रहे हैं, तो आप ये सोच करके प्रतिभाग मत करना कि मैं सारी चीज़ों को जानता हूँ। ये मनुष्य अपूर्ण होता है, ये आत्मा पूर्ण नहीं है। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। वह पूर्ण तो परमपिता परमात्मा है। आप अपनी नॉलेज को जो भी स्कॉलर बोल रहा है उसके साथ कनेक्ट करो और उसमें जो आपको अच्छी चीज लगे उसको ले लो। छोटे बच्चे में भी यदि कोई अच्छी बात दिखाई देती है उसको ग्रहण कर लिया जाता है। इसलिए यदि कोई विद्यार्थी पेपर पढ़ रहा है, हमको उसी ध्यान से सुनना चाहिए, जैसे कि हम मंजुनाथ जी का सुनते हैं, जैसे कि सिंह साहब का सुनते हैं, पॉल साहब का सुनते हैं, या प्रद्युम्न सिंह का सुनते हैं, या कामाख्या का सुनते हैं, या एलन जोशी का सुनते हैं, किसी का भी सुनते हैं, परंतु ध्यान से आप सुनिए, फिर देखिए आपको कितना इससे लाभ प्राप्त होगा। यही एक स्कॉलर की पहचान होती है। आप विश्वविद्यालय के अंदर आए, मैं तो चाहता था, बहुत पहले मैंने डॉक्टर कामाख्या को कहा कि एस व्यासा यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ में अनुबंध पत्र होना चाहिए, MOU होना चाहिए। तो आपने इसमें मैंने पढ़ा है, जो ये आपने शेड्यूल दिया है, मुझे बड़ी प्रसन्नता हो रही है कि आज हम एस व्यासा यूनिवर्सिटी के मेरे समकक्ष डॉक्टर मंजुनाथ जी के साथ हम अभी कुछ ही पलों के बाद में अनुबंध करेंगे। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है और आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
एक बार पुनः माननीय कुलपति जी का जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत और अभिनंदन। सर, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, साधुवाद। मैं योग विज्ञान विभाग की ओर से और समस्त आयोजन मंडल की ओर से आपका धन्यवाद और साधुवाद करता हूं। अगले कार्यक्रम में हम अपने विश्वविद्यालय के कुलपति और एस व्यासा विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुलपति जी को आमंत्रित करते हैं एक मेमोरेंडम ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग साइन करने के लिए। इट इज़ एन ऑनर टू विटनेस दिस momentous occasion where Uttarakhand Sanskrit University and S Vyasa University are coming together to sign a memorandum of understanding, fostering academic collaboration and research excellence to innovation, knowledge exchange, and global partnership. So this MOU aims to facilitate joint research in the field of yoga by leveraging each other strengths. Uttarakhand Sanskrit University and S Vyasa University will create a new learning opportunity for advanced research and contribute to solving the global challenges. This partnership will also strengthen the industry academia connections, opening doors for innovation and entrepreneurship also. So ये हम लोगों के लिए बहुत ही विशेष पल होने वाला है। आप सभी अपने स्थान पर इस विशेष पल के साक्षी हो रहे हैं, जो दोनों विश्वविद्यालयों के रिसर्चर्स के लिए, स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, फैकल्टीज़ के लिए, आचार्यों के लिए, बच्चों के लिए, सभी के लिए एक विशेष द्वार समझौते का खोलेगा, जहां पर स्टूडेंट एक्सचेंज और फैकल्टी एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम आगे हम लोग आपस में चला पाएंगे। दोनों विश्वविद्यालय के कुलपति जी ने मेमोरेंडम ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग साइन किया और उसके एविडेंस के तौर पर यहाँ पर उपस्थित अन्य सदस्यों के हस्ताक्षर, माननीय कुल सचिव जी के हस्ताक्षर इत्यादि पूर्ण हो रहे हैं। कुछ ही पलों में आप सभी के ज़ोरदार तालियों के बीच इस हस्ताक्षर स्थानांतरण की प्रक्रिया को पूर्ण करते हुए आप सभी को बहुत बहुत हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, साधुवाद सर। कार्यक्रम के क्रम में काफ़ी विलंब हो चुका है और इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा हमारे विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुल सचिव श्री गिरीश कुमार अवस्थी सर को आप सभी का धन्यवाद ज्ञापन के लिए। ओवर टू यू।
थैंक यू। अभी जब लगातार हम लोग 11th इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम अपने अतिथियों को सुन रहे हैं और अब ये बेला है वोट ऑफ थैंक्स की। इस कार्यक्रम में एक बड़ा अद्भुत संगम है कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के हमारे मुख्य सचिव श्री बीके सिंह, फॉर्मर जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी आयुष, जिन्होंने अपने अनुभव साझा किए और अपने व्यस्त समय से ये समय निकालकर ये विश्वविद्यालय के कॉन्फ्रेंस में आपने अपना समय दिया, प्रतिभाग किया, हम लोगों का हौसला बढ़ाया, कार्यक्रम की गरिमा को बढ़ाया है। मैं आपका बहुत आभार और धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ। इसी क्रम में डॉक्टर एन के मंजुनाथ, जिनको हम लोगों ने सुना, उन्होंने अपना कार्यक्रम में समय दिया और काफ़ी समय से वो यहाँ आने के इच्छुक थे। हमारे माननीय कुलपति महोदय उन्हें यहाँ बुलाने के लिए इच्छुक थे और आज संयोग आया है कि वो हमारे मध्य हैं और ये हमारे गौरव के लिए विषय है। मैं प्रोफेसर एन के मंजुनाथ, प्रोफेसर यश व्यासा विश्वविद्यालय का भी बहुत आभार और धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करता हूँ। और ये सम्मुख बैठे मैं आप लोगों से कहना चाहता हूँ, धन्यवाद मुझसे नहीं, आपकी तालियों से होता है उनका स्वागत, तो आप इसका ध्यान रखें। और इसी क्रम में जो बहुत पुराने से ये जुड़े हुए डॉक्टर पॉल मदान, जिन्होंने कहा कि मेरा प्रोफेशन तो चिकित्सक का है किंतु मेरा पैशन ये योग है, मैं ऐसे, और उन्होंने अपने अनुभव साझा किए हैं, मैं उनका भी बहुत आभार धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ। और प्रोफेसर दिनेश चंद्र शास्त्री जी, जो हमारे यशस्वी कुलपति महोदय हैं, जिन्होंने अपनी वेद की धारा से हमारे सम्मुख जो उद्बोधन अपना दिया है, हम लोगों को ऐसा लग रहा था कि मुझे और सुनने का अवसर मिले, और सुनने का अवसर मिले। ऐसे जो उनके निर्देशन में हमारा विश्वविद्यालय दिनों में नई ऊंचाइयां छू रहा है, मैं उनका भी बहुत आभार और धन्यवाद ज्ञापित कर रहा हूँ। इसी में डॉक्टर सुधांशु वर्मा जी का भी मैं बहुत धन्यवाद ज्ञापन कर रहा हूँ। सम्मुख बैठे हमारे डॉक्टर अजय भारद्वाज जी देव संस्कृत से पधारे हुए हैं, मैं आपका बहुत आभार ज्ञापन कर रहा हूँ। आपके साथ में जो साथी डॉक्टर कामता प्रसाद जी, नौडियाल जी और हमारे द्विवेदी जी और बहुत सारे जो हमारे ये बहुखंडी जी, सभी लोग जो यहाँ आए हैं, पधारे हैं और जो इसमें प्रतिभागी आए, विभिन्न राज्यों से आए, मैं सभी का बहुत स्वागत, आभार, धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ। और मुझे विश्वास है कि दो दिन ये जो गोष्ठी चलेगी, जो इससे अमृत निकलेगा, उससे ज़रूर आप लाभान्वित होंगे। और जो यहाँ रिसर्च, और आज सबसे बड़ी बात जो हुई है वो 5 पुस्तकों का कम से कम विमोचन हुआ है और 2 विश्वविद्यालयों के आपस में संपर्क बना है। हमारे IAOY कायम करेगा, हम लोग नई ऊंचाइयां छुएंगे और इसके साथ विश्वविद्यालय नई ऊंचाइयों की तरफ बढ़ेगा। ऐसी गोष्ठियां होती रहें, इसकी उनकी भी अपेक्षा रहती कि ऐसे कार्यक्रम आयोजित होते रहें। मैं डॉक्टर कामाख्या कुमार, जो निरंतर सालों साल इसके लिए लगे रहते हैं, उनकी पूरी टीम को मैं बहुत बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूं, जो निरंतर इस कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाने के लिए सालों साल प्रयास करते हैं। आपका डॉक्टर कामाख्या जी बहुत सफल कार्यक्रम रहा है, मैं आपको बहुत शुभकामनाएं और बधाई देता हूँ। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं, बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ, धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। अब वक्त हो चला है कि इस इनॉग्रल सेशन समापन से पहले मैं अनुरोध करता हूं कि हमारे इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के चेयर पर्सन कामाख्या कुमार सर से कि वे स्मृति चिन्ह भेंट कर हमारे सभी सम्मानित अतिथियों का अभिनंदन करेंगे और हम सभी इस विशेष पल के साक्षी बनेंगे जोरदार तालियों के साथ। सर्वप्रथम हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि श्री बीके सिंह सर का स्मृति चिन्ह भेंट कर हमारी जोरदार तालियों के बीच एक बार सभी से निवेदन कि अपनी जोरदार तालियों के साथ इसी के साथ इस कार्यक्रम के गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर प्रोफेसर मंजुनाथ सर, अगले चरण में डॉक्टर पॉल मदान सर, प्रोफेसर दिनेश चंद्र शास्त्री सर, वाइस चांसलर उत्तराखंड संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालय, और गिरीश कुमार अवस्थी सर, रजिस्ट्रार उत्तराखंड संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालय। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत आभार। एक बार हम सभी शांति मंत्र के साथ इस कार्यक्रम का समापन कर अगले ही क्षण अगला कार्यक्रम शुरू करेंगे, किंतु उससे पहले आप सभी यहाँ पर बने रहें। एक बार सभी कमर गर्दन सीधी कर लें। नव आगंतुकों से निवेदन है कि वे सभी अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। काइंडली टेक योर सीट एज सुन एज पॉसिबल। वी आर इन द फाइनल of this session. सभी कमर गर्दन सिर एक सीध में कर लें। ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। This is it. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you so much all the dignitaries to come and join the inaugural sessions. आप सभी यहाँ पर बने रहें। कुछ ही पलों में अगला कार्यक्रम हमारा जो मुख्य कीनोट सेशन है वो हम प्रारंभ करेंगे।
दूसरा नहीं है।
Yes, sir.
मैं ये इसको यूज़ करता हूँ।
इस पे
हाँ ये आ रहा है ना,
ये माउस चलेगा नहीं सर, वो नहीं चलेगा, ये चलेगा ना? नहीं,
तो ठीक है मैं ऐसे
आपको
यूज़
दिख जाएगा नेक्स्ट, आप बोल दीजिएगा नेक्स्ट, मैं नेक्स्ट कर दूँगा।
ये आपका चलते रहेगा।
हाँ, मैं वहाँ से ऑपरेट कर दूँगा। ठीक है,
ओके, कैन यू स्टार्ट?
यस सर।
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Namaste. Fantastic. Shall we say Om once loudly? Okay, take a deep breath, all of you. ओंकारबिंदु संयुक्तम नित्यं ध्यायन्ति योगिनः, नित्यं ध्यायन्ति योगिनः, कामदं मोक्षदं चैव, कामदं मोक्षदं चैव, ओंकाराय नमो नमः, ओंकाराय नमो नमः। Thank you. Dr. Kamakya Kumar, he has asked me to talk about the same topic as that of the conference today. So then I was thinking, what is that I can put together, because I come from a little bit of technical scientific background of doing research on yoga. Then I thought I will bring the same research components into both these domains, which is the science of yoga and the art of yoga. I made a small attempt. I'm sure you can pick some information from this. Next one. We all know when we talk of the science of yoga, this is something not new to us. The science of yoga was always integrated into the methodology of the practice of yoga. So we always say that whether the evidence-based approach or the subjective or objective methodologies or measurements, what we have used to understand today, were also known very well in the ancient times. These methodologies were little different, and if you go back to the history, as Honorable Vice Chancellor was mentioning earlier, Rigveda or anything what we take the reference as, but I always take this Omkara or Om as the source. Because that's what has started probably when the whole creation has come into existence. Okay, so that's there from the creation time, and the journey also has started from that time. And we also take the reference of two major aspects of our darshanas, the Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa, which are believed to be the science and technology part of the present day understanding. Next one, please. Next one. Whenever we want to do a scientific exploration of yoga, at least me as a researcher, I have faced this problem. Okay, so imagine if there is a great yoga master or a meditator sitting in quite natural surroundings, doing his meditation and having a fantastic experience. I bring the same guy to my laboratory, put all these electrodes onto his scalp, and I want to test him. And now the question comes, can he produce the same meditation effect as that of he doing the meditation in a quite natural surrounding? How many of you say yes? Can he produce the same effect? can his meditation experience be same as that of the laboratory? The answer is certainly yes and no, both. No, because if you are a novice, if you are a new person to meditation or yoga, then certainly you have lots of distractions and you need an environment and still you can't focus. Then you cannot focus in a laboratory setting. But if you are an accomplished yoga practitioner or a meditator, it doesn't matter where you are. You just need to get into meditation. What the other person is doing doesn't have any impact on you. That's the beauty of meditation or yoga. And then you can still produce the same effects as that of wherever you do yoga or meditation. Next one. I have few pictures for you to take you back to the history of yoga research. How today we talk about the science of yoga. This is very famous picture taken from Swami Kovalyananda's amazing research activities done at Kaivalyadam. There's one great yoga master who was supposed to be put into an underground pit, and there were lots of electrodes connected to his scalp to look at his EEG, electroencephalogram, electrical activity of the brain, and many other electrodes like his measuring the respiration, then measuring metabolic activities, etc., were also made an attempt to study. So now, I'm talking about 1930s. These kind of experiments were conducted in 1930s, 1920s, 1900. So today, we look back to those experiments to say that, yes, scientific methodology of the day can be systematically used for understanding the beneficial effects of yoga. Next one, please. Of course, pranayama. You talk of asana, pranayama, meditation, relaxation response, etc. Whichever one you take, these were highly researched as early as 19th century. Go to the next one. Swami Kovalyananda himself participated in several experiments. One of that is very famous study on Nauli Kriya. Okay? So, that time, there was no MRI, etc. to be tested. When you do these kriyas, even there is an MRI today, you cannot get into an MRI and do a Nauli Kriya. Maybe somebody can invent it, how to do a Nauli Kriya while lying down in an MRI. I don't know about it. But this was done, and during that time, radiographic images, X-rays were taken, and precise the measurement tools, the physics of X-ray was used to measure the intra-abdominal pressure changes during Nauli Kriya. Why I am telling this to the youngsters sitting here is don't always go by big instruments for research. Research has to be very simple yet very rigorous. Then you can publish them. Next one. Apart from Swami Kovalyananda, T. Krishnamacharya, yet another great well-known yoga master, also participated in experiments like this. And you see there in 1930s once again, he could demonstrate to a Western researcher that he could bring his electrical activity of the heart to almost to nil. Okay? I have a series of such experiments. Next one. Yet another great yoga master, Ramananda Yogi, he participated in experiments in a medical college, and he could demonstrate his voluntary ability to bring his metabolic rate to almost to a physiological hibernation stage. Next one, please. We all know, next one, Paramahamsa Yogananda. Is there anybody who has not read the autobiography of a yogi? If not, please read it. So he is the one who actually gave that new understanding of yoga, but at the same time, all these great yoga masters participated in scientific experiments because of which we can proudly say that yoga is evidence-based. We have a long way to go. As a researcher, I know we have not attempted. The center one, the physiological hibernation, is what was established by the studies on Paramahamsa Yogananda. Next one, please. This is a very famous study on Swami Rama. Of course, we are in the land of Uttarakhand. Swami Rama comes from here, Himalayan Yoga Institute. And of course, Swami Rama participated in several such studies, both in India as well as abroad. And this is one study where just before attaining this highly absorbed meditative state, his heart rate has gone to as high as 300 plus beats per minute. We all know when you do yoga, your heart rate goes down, respiration goes down, physiological measures go down, taking you to a state of relaxation response. But here is the opposite of it happening. The heart rate goes up to as high as 300 and then suddenly disappears. In medical terminology, there is a condition called atrial flutter. So we correlate that with a state of atrial flutter, but it is not atrial flutter. This is a normal mechanism. But later, after this study, several other researchers, when they looked at yoga masters, they could see this heightened response before making that physiological function almost nil. Next one. Swami Rama also demonstrated his ability to change the temperature of his palm in two places, one going up, one bringing down. So we believe that many of these are involuntary functions and I have no control over them. Next. This is a very famous study. Next one. So this is where Yogi Satyamurthy could give this demonstration of remaining in a state of his ECG maintained as a straight line for 7 long days. Physiologically, if you ask me even today, I don't have an answer to give. But this is published in American Heart Journal in 1973, demonstrating that yes, it is possible for you to regulate, voluntarily control your involuntary function. So this is the beauty of yoga. Probably what is understood is very less. Exceptional feats which yoga masters could demonstrate were all known in the earlier time, and probably today we are looking at small little things like a health benefit or improving my performance, etc. But there is so much what you can achieve through yoga. Next one. To understand the science of yoga, this is an image taken at Yesvyasa University. We have an extensive research facility. Anything connected with human biology we can study in one laboratory called Anveshana Research Laboratories. Ranging from psychophysiology, which has like autonomic function testing, exercise physiology, metabolic laboratory, to sleep medicine on one side, cognitive neuroscience, which includes both electrophysiology, looking at the electrical activity of the brain, as well as cerebral blood flow changes. What happens within the cortex, within the brain, and the blood flow to the brain. Both can be studied using this lab. We also have molecular bioscience. Earlier, we were doing more of electrophysiology, looking at brain and nervous system, neuroscience. Then people started asking us a question that, yes, it's all fine, but how do you know what is happening at a cellular level? Okay, can you go into much deeper level of understanding of impact of yoga at a cellular level? Then we created this extensive research facility where we can do grosser to subtle like biochemistry, molecular biology, proteomics, metabolomics, and genomics. Anything you want to do in this segment, you can do it over there. Psychology and bioenergy are amazing tools. When you don't have any other laboratory, still you can do research. That's what neuropsychology and psychology taught us. Next one. Let me give you some examples. Okay, if we talk of the science of yoga today, it has started by understanding the techniques of yoga. We know there are very well-known techniques, starting from asanas, pranayama, then meditation and relaxation response, including kriyas, which are internal cleansing practices. Next one. If you look at this image, the most used component of yoga across the world is asanas. But if you see the number of research publications available on asanas is the least. Only 10% of research studies come from asana, a physical posture-based research, while 60% of research studies or research publications come on meditation. Okay, while pranayama plays probably as a balance up to bringing publications up to 30%, which are all taken into this. Next one. When we really want to understand the science behind asanas, we go to the basic definitions. It's always said that combine the best of the East with the best of the West. Okay, best of the East is the knowledge base, best of the West is scientific methodology. Combine them, then you have the amazing knowledge which can be used for generations. Stiram Sukham Asanam is what we say. Very easy to say. I can give you a task now that how far can you sit in a position in which you are sitting for next 1 hour. Okay, how many of you can sit in one position? Sthira, which is firm, Sukha, which is comfortable, okay, and a posture which gives you both of them. Next one. This image probably takes you to a WhatsApp message which came to me, from where a research idea came to me. Okay, so somebody sent me this WhatsApp idea. On top you have the Bhishma Pitamaha of yoga of present time, B.K.S. Iyengarji, who has done a modified Setu Bandhasana. And below you have, of course, not taking any country name, just for fun I take sometime. I used to say that an Irish yogi, my Irish friends got offended. Okay, you mean to say in Ireland we have these kind of yogis, in India you have these kind of yogis? Then I said, oh, no, I never meant that. Then I told them that this is just for reference. Any yogi, maybe somebody who is in India itself. So the top one is complete awareness, doing yoga as yoga, asana as asana. Below, under the beautiful influence of alcohol, okay, the chair had no back, so the person has collapsed. Without his knowledge, his body has assumed a similar position as that of the above position. Okay, so he never meant to achieve that position. Now the question comes, however you bend your body, is the effect, physiological changes going to remain same or not? Is bending your body matters, or doing yogasana as yoga matters? Do you need to bring in those components? A definition of yoga, asana, what we are talking, is important or not? Can you go to the next? Once again, we go back to our historical perspectives. If you look into our ancient scriptures, you get lots and lots of clues. Hatha Yoga Pradipika gives you n number of research questions. We just need to understand what they are talking about. So one of this is on Shirshasana, which is the king of all postures. Anybody who tries or who wants to get into yoga, at one point of time, they dream to stand upside down. Okay? The goal of everyone should be to stand upside down, stand on your head at some point of time. Okay? There are lots of benefits associated with it. And there are multiple variations of Shirshasana given in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. So now you want to do research on that, go to the next. Go to the next. I don't know if you can just press on the button. No, go back. Do you have a cursor? There's a video there. I don't know if you can operate that. Just put it on the video. If your cursor, yeah. Just
one step.
You can mute that audio to the right side. Yeah. Now play the video. So this is a very old video. This was done by BBC. BBC team were there. They were doing a documentary on our laboratory. And what happens is, basically, you want to test them. What exactly is happening? We have gone back to the previous slide where doing yoga as yoga, asana as asana, and otherwise. We wanted to make two groups. One group doing Shirshasana with wall support, another group doing Shirshasana without wall support. Now you will feel that those who are doing with wall support will have less anxiety compared to those who are doing without wall support. If I ask you to do Shirshasana here, unless you are an accomplished practitioner, you will have an X amount of anxiety that you might fall, you might lose your balance. So then the galvanic skin conductance, which measures the imperceptible sweat, should be very high if you are anxious, you are stressful. So now, when I looked at these two individuals, those two groups, What suggested was the people who did without wall support in the center of the platform, they had highly relaxed physiological state compared to the individuals who did with wall support, because they were not accomplished practitioners. Though they had a wall support, they always had this anxiety and they were not able to experience the benefits of Shirshasana the way otherwise other people were having. So this shows that physiologically the responses can be different. Not just bending the body matters, but bending the body and relaxing it in the final position matters. Next one. Today, there's so much of research in understanding every posture, what exactly happens, and biomechanics come as a very good tool for that understanding. Which muscle groups are acting, working, particularly which joints are taking the weight of an individual when you move from one posture to other, etc. can be understood very well. So I have taken, next one, an image from another great yoga researcher who has written a book on biomechanics of yoga. Next one. So this is a very simple tool. You need to have some sensors on your different parts of the body. The muscles of your interest, whichever muscle groups you want to study, you need to put some electrodes on them. And today, even you don't need that. There are softwares, and with video, you can monitor the joints and you can look at the joint angle and say that an individual has attained the perfect position or not. However you do these practices, it is very important for you to understand that there is a limitation which each one of you should keep in mind when you do these postures. I will tell why that limitation in next another few slides. Next one. So I'll take you back to this comparison. So I always try making these comparisons of the East and the West. You want to bring in biomechanics into this definition of asana, sthiram sukham asanam. So then you look at certain essential components of biomechanics. The number one is the weight-bearing joint has to be very firm. At times there can be one weight-bearing joint or multiple weight-bearing joints if there are two or more, but it has to be very much firm, then only you can maintain a posture. Then the plane of motion has to be very smooth, because what matters is your gravity. There are two things in gravity. There is plane of motion and line of gravity. Okay, so if that is taken care, then you can remain in any posture for as long as you want. I was talking of Shirshasana. I don't know, you have some students here, those may be experts in Shirshasana. In our university in Bangalore, S. Vyasa University, we had a student of Bachelor of Science in Yoga. He was a crazy guy about Shirshasana. Whenever an event is happening like this, suddenly he will come, he will put a mat there and he will stand upside down. Okay? Can you believe? He used to stay there for 3 hours. First time when I was in a program, he comes here and he gets into Shirshasana, and I am looking at him, 5 minutes over, 10 minutes over, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, I got worried. Okay, I am the Vice Chancellor, then something happens to this guy, so then I have to go to the hospital and then probably somewhere else. Then it is a responsibility. Then I made him come down. Then he got very annoyed. He said, "Sir, kya problem hai?" Then I said that no, you should not do it for so long. 2 hours, 3 hours is not safe for you. No, sir, I am doing it for last around 10 years. Then I said, tomorrow you come to laboratory. मुझे पहले एक बार check करना है what exactly happens. The beauty, that's when I understood. Any posture for that matter, when you get into the posture, there is a sudden surge of physiological responses. Autonomic functions go up, heart rate goes up, blood pressure goes up, everything goes up, muscle contraction, muscle tone increases, everything happens. But if you remain in the same posture without any disturbance for a period of 2 to 5 minutes, then everything starts reversing. Your body can understand what you need and it can produce the same effects what is needed for you. But if you keep moving, keep shifting, then body thinks that okay, you have to come back and go. So that's when you will never attain balance, then you will have difficulties. Your muscles, agonists and antagonists, one muscle is pulling a joint while the other muscle is actually releasing. If both of them don't work in tandem, then you will never maintain a posture. Okay? So our Honorable Vice Chancellor was talking earlier about dualities. That's what I mentioned here is the dualities, which has to be maintained in such a way that you have samatva. Next one. So there's also another definition which talks about basically like prayatna shaitilyam ananta samapatibhyam. When you reach the final position, you have to drop the effort. Okay, be it pranayama, be it meditation or anything for that matter, when it becomes effortless, then only you have the best benefits of that. Next one. Then we say tato dvandva anabhigataha. Dvandvas, we were talking about dualities. To maintain that samatva, your muscles have to cooperate, those who are fighting with each other. Your joints have to cooperate, those who are fighting with each other to maintain. And of course, your mind has to cooperate. Your muscles are cooperating, joints are cooperating, mind is not cooperating, impossible to maintain a posture. So can you assist them? Certainly yes. Next. So the second tool, very well researched, as I mentioned, is pranayama. Okay, because that's the bridge between body and mind. We use this chale vate chale chittam nischalam nischalo bhavit yogisthānutvam apnoti tado vayu nirodhaye. You can play with it. I was doing some research with theatre artists. Okay, some artists who perform in the theatre. So I was asking them, how do you produce those emotions suddenly? Okay, I want to become angry. And next fraction of seconds, you want to calm down and you want to get into a mode of happiness. You produce those emotions on your face. How is it possible? Then they said, the only tool which can make me do that is my breathing. I don't know how much of us we understand the power of breath. Theatre artists are using. Can you become angry without increasing your breath rate? I asked them, how do you become angry? He said, 5 times you do this. In your face, without your knowledge, that anger comes in. How do you get rid of anger? Then just do slow breathing. Deeper the exhalation, relaxation sets in. So next one. Once again, this is the correlation for you. You go to the next slide. Next one. So we have in traditional descriptions, you have the 2 channels, Ida and Pingala, through which the energy flows. And we always used to say that right nostril, left nostril matters a lot. Okay, Ida and Pingala matters a lot. Then many people used to say that how does it matter? The gap between right and left is only 2.5 inches. The nasal septum which divides between these, beyond which air gets into the same passage. Why you people make pranayama as something very big? Okay, that's when we started identifying lots and lots of neuroscience behind this process of breathing. You know that there is very high connectivity between your nasal mucosa with your brainstem. Brainstem is the area which regulates your autonomic functions. Okay? Be it respiration, metabolism, cardiovascular functions, etc. Everything is regulated by your brainstem. So now if you regulate your breathing, automatically you are regulating. Also there are connections with your relay centers like thalamo-hypothalamic areas, and it goes to both your sensory motor areas as well as to your association cortices. Beautiful brain has this networking, and you can influence top down and you can influence directly to the brainstem as well. Hence breathing is the method to really bring in a change in your thought process. Next one. You will look at here, there are many breathing techniques, pranayama practices. We call pranayama as kumbhaka, ashta kumbhaka. Okay? Breath holding, cessation of breath is a natural process when you do pranayama. But in different pranayama techniques, you manipulate or you regulate some part of breathing. Whereas in Kapalabhati, you regulate the rate of breathing. Okay, it is active exhalation, passive inhalation. Okay, whereas in Bastrika, you manipulate the depth of your breathing. While in when you do certain pranayamas like Shitali, Shitkari, etc., you do your breathing through the mouth. While when you do right nostril, left nostril, anuloma, viloma, etc., you manipulate your nostrils. So there are different ways you regulate, and when you do Brahmari, you basically bring in this component of resonance breathing. Okay, next one. There are very well worked out research studies on each one of these pranayamas. I am just quoting one or two of them, what we had done at S. Vyasa University, because right nostril has been known to bring in arousal, stimulation. So the heart rate can go up, respiration can go up, metabolism can increase when you inhale and exhale through your right nostril. When you do the same through the left nostril, the opposite can happen. But there are common benefits. Both of them can improve your attention. Both of them can improve your cognitive processes because you are doing deep breathing. And it sets in relaxation response. Next one. Right nostril, next one. We always ask this basic question. Is the right nostril influencing the right side of the brain? Left nostril is influencing the left side of the brain? Is it the opposite sides which are getting influenced? Okay, this question comes to any pranayama researcher. So we had done two different types of studies. One to look at the electrical activity of the brain in connection with the right nostril and left nostril. Second one, blood flow changes in the brain to right and left nostril. This is the electrical activity, auditory evoked potential, middle latency response, what we have seen. When you give a stimulus through your ear, a tone, then this sensory information goes through your brain, and there is a signature of waves which you can see at different parts of the brain. Now I can do a functional MRI, which is very easy for me to look at which part of the brain is active. But earlier, when I had no such option, evoke potential, EEG and evoke potential were the easy tools for me. When you do that, what you understand is two phenomenon happens. One is the amplitude of a particular wave, thalamo-hypothalamic area relayed from that area, amplitude increases. Increase in amplitude suggests that the number of neurons, nerve cells recruited for that activity has increased. The second thing is, if it is occurring at a particular millisecond, 98 millisecond, it starts appearing at 97.35 millisecond. Okay? What that says, shorter the latency, quicker the information processing in the brain. It's so beautiful. We don't need much better evidence for this than understanding how brain processing can happen when you do different pranayama techniques. Next one. So this I am talking about the blood flow changes. So the blood flow changes are little distinct compared to the electrical activity. Electrical activity was showing ipsilateral. Ipsilateral means the same side of the brain is getting stimulated more. Whereas the blood flow changes somewhere suggest it is contralateral on the opposite side. Now if you ask me, how is it possible? Electrical activity is taking place, that means there is an activation or activity in that part of the brain. How activity can happen without blood flow changes? Okay, so whenever there is activity, there must be regional blood flow changes in that part of the brain. Without that, no activity will take place. It is certainly interesting because we had looked at the frontal lobe, that part of the brain which is just behind your forehead. That's also called as a character cortex that decides or differentiates between human beings and animals. Discrimination is sitting there, attention is sitting there, many other functions are sitting there. So that's the part of the brain which gets completely involved when you do either pranayama or meditation. Next one. We are also interested to look at, okay, there is blood flow changes within the brain, cortical areas. Can the blood flow to the brain also change significantly when I do different breathing techniques? Yes, because we are blessed with a special mechanism, protective mechanism of blood flow to the brain called auto-regulation of blood flow to the brain. If that was not there, every day everyone can have at least some experience of a stroke. Okay, either a hemorrhagic stroke or an ischemic stroke. But because of that amazing protective mechanism, we don't have those issues. But still, the blood flow can increase, like these two pranayamas. When you hold your breath versus when you do high-frequency yoga breathing, Bhastrika pranayama. High-frequency yoga breathing can increase the pulsatility index, which offers resistance to the flow of blood. The blood vessel offers resistance for the flow of blood. Then you know there are changes, probability of the blood pressure increasing, which is very much possible. The reverse is possible when you do breath holding. We don't use breath holding at all effectively. There's National University of Singapore. There's a neurology department with whom we are collaborating for a range of our studies on stroke patients. So these people got interested to understand, can we really use breath holding itself as a technique to heal or treat stroke patients? So then what we introduced was, there is a transient breath holding technique. Not for too long, you do it for 4 seconds, then do normal deep breathing, then hold for 4 seconds. So like this transient breath holding technique. Then we looked at the cerebral perfusion. What exactly happens to the area which is affected in stroke? To our surprise, I don't know how yoga works. Still, we don't know the underlying mechanisms. Where there is an affected area, there is a better perfusion suddenly, and the people started responding better. Of course, we are taking this study much ahead now. We are doing it on 120 stroke patients. It's a 3-arm trial in a medical hospital in Bangalore, in our university, as well as in Singapore. Next one. There are multiple meditation techniques. I have picked 2 of them here. Both of them talking about relaxation response. One, a very standard Om meditation, while the other one is a derived meditation technique where the hint was taken from Mandukya Upanishad, one technique called cyclic meditation. So here we say that if your mind is very drowsy, you want to take it to meditation, it's not possible. If your mind is very agitated, then also it's very difficult to take it to the meditation. Then the third thing is you have to do this stimulation and relaxation, couple of times, then it can get into deeper level of relaxation. There is a shloka from Mandukya Upanishad which goes something like this. Laye sambodaye chittam vikshiptam shamayet punah sakashayam vijaniya samapraptam na chalayet. You pat and awaken a sleeping mind. You calm down an agitated mind. Keep doing couple of times. In between you identify a state of equilibrium. When it reaches the state of equilibrium, consciously do not disturb it. Allow it to remain there. That's the beauty of this shloka from Mandukya Upanishad. So this goes like that, and we did a study in this which suggested that when you do this 22 minutes of stimulation relaxation technique, it can take your relaxation to a very deep level. 32% of oxygen consumption reduction was noticed. When you sleep, your oxygen consumption goes by 9%. Okay, so that's the kind of ability what yoga can offer us. Next, this is summary for you. Which parts of the brain probably can be involved in different meditation techniques? Not necessarily this is the final benchmark. Okay, this is just a summation of multiple studies. Some are on defocus meditation techniques, some are focus meditation, mindfulness-based meditation techniques, cyclic meditation, Brahma Kumari Raj Yoga meditation, etc. Some work at the brainstem level, some work at the mesencephalon and diencephalon area, and some work at association cortices level. Most of them have a relaxation response as the final goal. Next. This is a functional MRI study what we did. Can you go to the next one? So this is where we compared the 3 phases of meditation. Can you get into meditation directly? Some can say, yes, I can get into meditation. But the process of meditation is same, whichever technique you take. You are all in the state of chanchalata or random thinking at any given point of time. From there you go into ekagrata, the focused attention stage. From there you get into deep attentive phase called dharana, and then you drop the effort and establish yourself in the stage of dhyana. Chanchalata, ekagrata, dharana and dhyana. What exactly happens to your brain when you go through these different phases of meditation is what you see here. In the first one, looking at just bringing your attention. Multiple thoughts on multiple subjects is chanchalata, random thinking. Multiple thoughts on single subject is ekagrata, bringing focus. Single thought on single subject is dharana, intense focusing. Okay, so then that single thought, you drop the effort of holding on to the thought is your dhyana. You can see the same reflected in your brain. Whoever does meditation, same thing happens. Take it from me. You can test, go to imaging center and test yourself. When you have ekagrata, there is inhibition in the brain in some area, there is stimulation in the brain in multiple areas. When you move to dharana, intense focusing, everything is taken away. You can see the center one. There are only orange dots in 2 places. The frontal lobe, particularly the area which regulates attention called dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate. These are the areas which regulate attention. You can see only those areas are active. When you come to dhyana, the areas, same attentional areas are maintained. But you see a lot of blue areas in the last one to your right. There is global inhibition. No more distraction. We think that when I do meditation, many switches are on in my brain. Okay, the opposite happens. Many switches are off. Meditation actually creates a cohesive environment for you to be in. Only one master switch is on, otherwise all other switches are off. Next. Go to the next one. Let me give you some examples. This is the science part of yoga, and let me give you how we can use the same science in bringing it into the art of living. Okay, so we should certainly bring in these 2 components to practice, as our Honorable Vice Chancellor was mentioning in the inauguration. We always separate philosophy and practice. Okay, so we say that philosophy is only at the later part of our life, while practice is I want now. So there is no such discretion. If you want to bring in the art of living through yoga, then you have to bring both philosophy and practice together. Also keep in mind there is a component called suppression versus sublimation. Suppression is what we do whenever we have a challenging situation. Even if there is a health problem, what do? We take a medication and we suppress a problem. Except maybe for an infectious condition where you need to really kill those bacteria or microbes. Other than that, you need to actually work on the area where you can bring a balance. Moderation is the key. People ask me, I am a born non-vegetarian. So now yoga prescribes a whole plant-based diet. How do I shift from this to this? Okay, so shifting from this to this, in some cases it happens naturally. People they will be ready to leave and move. But this is very strong. Whereas in other cases, the key is moderation. Somebody says that I am so used to certain things, some substance or anything like that. Okay, so there are lots of issues connected with withdrawal of any habit what you accumulate over a period of time. So moderation and then withdraw. That's the beauty of yoga. And samatva, balance, always maintain this balance in every activity what you do, and let go is the mantra. Okay, so can you say let go? We never let go things, right? If we can let go things, life is very peaceful. Next. If you adopt these things into your life, the art of living is with you all the time. Okay, the basic tenets, the 10 commandments, yamas and niyamas. Whichever practice you do during that time, you follow these. People think that yamas and niyamas are the practices. I mean, I have to follow it. But yoga is different. B.K.S. Iyengar, he had received a honorary doctorate from S.V.S.I. University. When he was there in our university that time, he gave a talk and he said that yamas and niyamas have to be followed when you are doing yoga practice. How do you follow? You have ahimsa, satya. Don't do himsa to your body when you are doing asanas. Listen to your body and practice the way your body is asking you to do them. Okay, satya. So satya, you want to be truthful. Truthful for what? You don't cheat yourself when you are doing your practices. Don't show off. No need to show off to anybody else when you do yoga, when you want to follow something in your life. Next one. There are major issues in our life today why yoga is being practiced. One of them is the health issue. Health issue where we are focusing on non-communicable diseases. Today, yoga is a major solution for several non-communicable diseases because we say that 7 in every 10 deaths worldwide are because of non-communicable diseases. Can we do something to it? Why not? Yes, there is yoga-based lifestyle, which is the only solution. Next. There are 4 pillars of lifestyle. Art of living with respect to yoga, I want to bring in through these 4 pillars of lifestyle. One is nutrition, second one is sleep and habits, not necessarily sleep alone. Third one is stress, and fourth one is physical activity. Movement here suggests physical activity. Next one. So, the first one, nutrition, diet. We think that our measurements are based on our diet. Okay, this is based on multiple things. How do you actually regulate them? Go to the next. The father of medicine said that let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. The present day people have followed it too seriously. You don't know, before their food they have a plate full of medicines. So medicines have become food today. You take so many tablets before your food and after your food, and food has become very small. That's not the purpose what the father of medicine said. What we wanted to follow was food used as medicine. You don't need any medicine if you use your food effectively. You know what to eat. Next one. I mean, we talk about plant-based diet because there are lots of advantages where your body can adapt to. And we also look at seasonal and regional food. Many people ask, what should I eat? Wherever you are in India, you are in North America, you are in Australia, follow the diet pattern of that country if you are staying there for a little longer. Imagine one day you are staying, 2 days you are staying, doesn't matter because you will get back to a normal rhythm. You should also look at the component called need versus greed. Okay, now there will be lunch break after this. Delicious lunch will be awaited. How much should I eat? Nobody can tell you. There is a need, but there is delicacy, then that brings in greed. This will never end. Every day it happens. Your body has to put on with that. So, who has to be regulated? Your own mind has to be regulated because it has to understand what is needed. The gunas in food, gunas in you should match or complement. Sattva, tamas and rajas in me, in different combinations, versus sattva, tamas and rajas in my food should complement each other for that samatva or homeostasis to be attained. Mitahara is the key, regulated diet. So it's always said that when you are having your lunch or dinner, when you have reached up to 80% of your satiation, being satisfied with your food, please stop eating there. Leave that 20% of your digestive system empty so that the digestive processes can happen in a better way. Okay? So many people say yuktahara, mitahara, and also they talk about intermittent fasting. Give a gap for your digestive system in between. Yoga talks about all this. Upavasa, or not eating anything, calorie restriction was a systematic process in our culture. That's what happened. Next one. So these are some studies on calorie restriction. If somebody has any doubt that we do systematic upavasa, systematic fasting, there are lots and lots of benefits and enough scientific studies are there. But people go little beyond all these things. They get fascinated by this and they start overdoing it. That's when you have problem. So aging process can be regulated through your diet itself. Okay? Lots of degradation process, what happens in your body can be reversed. You know there is telomere in the last part of the chromosome, telomere length shortens, then your aging process is fast hastened. It becomes very quick. You want to reverse it, you don't need to go to telomere and pull this. You just do yoga, that will pull your telomere length. Okay, your body gets adjusted, it identifies and it gives a solution. Next one. This is very crucial. Habits, sleep hygiene. So nice. I would like to keep looking at that baby sleeping so well. Each one of us intend to sleep like this every day night. Right? So we want to have this sound sleep. Next. This is what happens in your brain when you are sleeping. You think that everything is at rest, but your brain is very active when you are sleeping. All that flushing effect, you have put so much of dirt in your body, and that metabolic processes in your brain has to be clearing all those metabolic waste from your brain. There is a system called glymphatic system. Okay, glial cells supported by the blood vessels, and the outcome of this is taken out and sent into these lymphatic channels called glymphatic system. Those are very active. If you don't have a good sleep, then lots and lots of complications can arise over a period of time. Next one. This is a common feature. Maybe I don't know how many of you have experienced it. Not necessarily you need to be two of you. Okay, many times one of you may be turning onto one side. Before sleeping, you have made it as a habit to look into your mobile, see some of those reels. Okay, those reels will never end. That's just a beginning, and you don't know how that 30 minutes and 1 hour has passed. You wanted to sleep at 10:30 or 11 o'clock, you end up sleeping at 12:30. But anyone asks you, what time do you sleep? Then you sincerely say, no, 11 o'clock I go to bed. Nobody asked you what time you go to bed, what time you sleep. Okay? So this is a common experience. Mobiles have become the culprit. Mobiles are not the culprit. It is here once again. It's your habit, what you are cultivating, that I should see some reels before getting into sleep. That habit should be taken out to have good sleep. Next. If you sleep late, there are 7 warning signs. I am giving to some of the young researchers. You just pick these 7 warning signs, write down, and then that can become a checklist for you to do your research. Ask people before yoga and after yoga, how many of these warning signs have changed? You can publish a research paper. You don't need great tools to do research. Dark circles are visible. Okay, but many others are not visible. But that can give you an indication. Next. These are some studies on yoga. So we have the sleep stages. It's not that one-way traffic. You get into sleep, there is a superficial stage of sleep, then there is a deep stage, and there is a dream sleep. It's not a compartment, one after the other. It keeps shifting like this. You get into wakefulness to superficial sleep. You might go into deep sleep, otherwise you come back to superficial, then you go back to deep sleep, then sometime you get into dream sleep, you come back, you come to wakeful. So this keeps happening across the night. To the left, you see there is a particular graph there which talks about total time what you have slept in either any of these stages. It shows the right side one, the left of the graph is non-yoga practitioner, the right side of the thing is yoga practitioner. The green graph suggests how the deep sleep, duration of deep sleep can be increased to the practice of yoga. Many of the great yoga masters, they sleep around 2 to 3 hours in a night, not more than 3 hours. So then we feel that, oh, somebody has told me that I have to sleep at least 6 hours to 8 hours a night, then only I am healthy. What we do, we spend all that time in the superficial stages of sleep, keep coming up, going down. But the yoga masters make sleep also as a voluntary process. At will, they can get into deep sleep, stay there as much as time needed. They come out, they are fresh for the remaining 18 hours, 20 hours. That's the beauty of yoga. Next. This is another study which was conducted in National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. They have compared few special yoga practices, particularly Vipassana meditation, and they have demonstrated that there is a possibility of you shifting the gears as per will rather than wasting your time. Next. I was talking about cyclic meditation. We also did a sleep study in cyclic meditation. We demonstrated that the ability for an individual to go to deep stages of sleep can be increased. And also you can reduce dream sleep. Wherever I have told that you can reduce dream sleep, immediately people have asked me the question, sir, is it good to dream or not good to dream? Okay, so that itself is a big area. We can get into it some other time. Next. This is another study where we looked at quality of sleep, reduced dream sleep, as I mentioned, and number of awakenings in the night can reduce. I worked with elderly people. Rehabilitation is my passion and my personal interest. I work with a lot of individuals with disabilities, and elderly is one area, and that's where I saw that there are lots of time they are awake in the bed for more time rather than sleeping. So can you make them sleep better is what we have looked, and there was success stories. Next. This is mental stress, which is the last important thing. Go to the next. There are very well-known magazines which all talk about mental stress. There are research articles. There are debates. Everywhere there is stress because we all go through it. The amount of stress what we filter and what we enjoy may not be different. May be different. So there are also differentiation. Is there something called his stress and her stress? Is stress different in gender? Is stress different in different age groups, etc.? When you ask these questions, you also need to find out solutions for them. I am going to give some hints into it. Next. Basically, what happens when you are under stress? The mechanism is bottom up. Those areas which trouble you, okay, the troublemakers are in the form of your brainstem as well as your emotional cortex, limbic system, what we call as. So these get activated first and they suppress the activity of the frontal lobe and other areas. Go to the next. Multiple things happen in your body. Autonomic response, each one of you will be aware of it. I am not going to the details of this, but basically it prepares you. Either flight or fight response. You want to fight a situation or you want to run away from a situation, for both your body will be prepared. Next. If the stress is for longer duration, your physiological mechanisms keep going upwards. Heart rate is maintained high, blood sugar levels are maintained high. That's when you become normal person becoming a pre-diabetic with no reason. Stress is the common reason because your blood sugar levels, your body each time keeps preparing you, but it is maintained at a higher level. You are not giving rest, then blood sugar level is maintained. You become a pre-diabetic. Next. Basically, as I said, it is the dysregulation what matters. Okay? People always say that avoid stress. Impossible. There is no concept called avoid stress. You should learn how to manage stress. Okay? Next. We said that there are areas like the limbic cortex, which is actually the main culprit which will keep troubling us. These are yoga studies. Long-term meditators have demonstrated particularly the ability to regulate hippocampal area. Hippocampus is that part of the limbic system which controls lots of cognitive processes as well as your memory. So it is very important, and whether you want or not, it happens. The hippocampal thickness increases, whereby the functionality is modified as per the requirement. Next. This also, another study, once again looking at the volume, suggested that it can cultivate the ability to develop positive emotions. So, I mean, it's nice as far as information is concerned. Okay, hippocampus has become thick. How does it matter? So, hippocampus is not just becoming thick, but also helps you to convert those negative emotions into positive emotions. Then only these things happen. Structural changes in the brain can happen only if there is a positive response which can facilitate other functions. Next. Another big problem what yoga can fix is reactivity. Okay, imagine there is an emotional upsurge and how do you react? Can yoga fix this? Once again done using a functional MRI study where the reactivity to a negative emotion. Okay, I show you some images. How do you react to an image? Your body automatically reacts to it. If you are a yoga practitioner, the reaction to an image is quite different. Next. Also, as I said, conversion of these emotions into softer emotions, which are very much possible, like an empathy, happy and pleasant feelings can be brought in through the practice of yoga. Next. We always look at specific techniques. I have put this slide in particular because in psychiatry, people use different techniques. Okay, there is something called particularly something called vagus nerve stimulation. This can bring in limbic deactivation. If Om meditation can produce the same effect as that of limbic deactivation by bringing in vagal nerve stimulation, why not use this instead of going through lots of other procedures? Is this study talking about? Hence, next one, meditation, as I said, is a reversal process. Okay, the bottom up becomes top down. Your master switch, which is the frontal lobe or the character cortex, takes the control and regulate all of the centers in the brain. And for each one of them, there are studies. Don't ever feel that we lack evidence. Next. Out of all this, when you talk of lifestyle, the last part is always about physical activity. Next. I don't know how many of you have heard of this problem called sitting disorder. Any of you have heard of sitting disorder? Some of you. So you are all sitting for 1 hour plus. I am afraid one of the topmost things says that 1 hour of sitting is as unhealthy as smoking 2 cigarettes. So after 30 minutes of the talk, I should have made you get up and sit. Okay, otherwise I am doing injustice talking about sitting disorders, right? So there are lots of implications, what you should be conscious about. Next. So why we need physical activity. There are basic requirements. You want to improve your flexibility, you want to make your muscles supple, you want to make your joints agile, and you want to work on different aspects of physical activity. Next, you also have one-stop solution probably in the form of Surya Namaskar. Imagine you don't have any time. There are studies which are conducted. I have listed a couple of them here on Surya Namaskar itself. And today Surya Namaskar has become very popular and many studies are done suggesting it can be a very comprehensive package for physical activity. Somebody I asked, do you practice Surya Namaskar? The person said that yes, I practice. How many rounds do you do? Every day I do one round of Surya Namaskar. Then I said, after that what you do? Shavasana. So one round of Surya Namaskar and Shavasana is going to help you just to sleep. It's not going to help you do anything else. So you need to have multiple rounds of Surya Namaskar to get the benefits. When you do asana, one thing you should also be clear is about injuries associated with physical activity and asanas. Many times we use asanas for injury management, but asanas themselves can also produce injuries if you are not careful. Next one. You can just take why you will have yoga related injuries. There can be poor technique, alignment, and also an individual with a previous injury suddenly getting into the practice of asana, excess of effort put into doing the practice, etc., can lead to injuries. The yoga teachers get excited when they get students. So they want to demonstrate that they can make a student highly proficient very fast. Then you push them and make them do yoga and you will end up in having problems. 29,590 yoga related injuries seen in hospital emergencies in US alone. Don't take it lightly. You have to be very conscious because in India people may not report it, but in the West there is a mechanism whereby if there is a health issue arising from a problem, you can report them. Next. So I wanted to give you this one particular thing for your reference. Next. All of us are not born with the same bones and joints. How somebody is super flexible versus another person not flexible? Because of our bones. And the formation of joints connected with our bones. You can see there are 6 different bones mentioned over here. You can see the upper part, the ball which connects with a joint. It is different in each one of those bones. The more closer it is to the bone, less mobility, less mobile you are. When you move it up, it gets locked. If it is lower and it is in the center, then you have more possibility of moving. So don't unnecessarily make everyone do these advanced postures. Please try to understand their capacity, what they can do. Next one. Also the hip bones I have put. You can see it's not the same for everyone. Okay, female hip bone is different compared to male hip bone. They can do some practices better than men. So you need to have this knowledge when you prescribe these kind of asanas. Next. I said don't do this. Okay, so if you are a yoga teacher, please don't do this, any of them. But if you are an accomplished yoga practitioner, you know how to make your students do the practices. Next. This is the last part of my presentation. I just wanted to give you some applications. Okay, we have seen the science of yoga. We have seen how we can bring these practices into our lifestyle management. Let us look at few applications. Next. This is for the benefit of our yoga scholars. If you ask, of course, Dr. Kamakhya has written so many books. He has put all these things as one book. But I have put only the headings of those books as the principles of yoga therapy. So you can pick most of them if you really want to follow yoga therapy to its best. One particular thing I want to bring your attention when you know all other things. One is the concept of viparyaya. Okay? So viparya, pramana viparya vikalpa nidra sprutayaha. So these are, what are these? Vrittis. So when you talk about viparya, this is where the confusion, not just in the mind, at a cellular level, can create a problem in your body. Two things can happen in your body. One is your body cells start treating your own body cells as enemies. There's a condition called autoimmunity. It's your own cells. Morning it was recognized as your own body cell, evening it recognizes it as an enemy. Whereas in the second condition, you start feeling enemy as friend. So that's a condition called cancer. So your own, it is there in your body, you start treating is these cells as your own body cells, you start nourishing them. It's all once again viparya brought down to a level at a cellular level. It can create confusion and we need to reverse them through the same understanding at a cellular level. Next. So these are various mechanisms you use to achieve or to use yoga as a systematic science of medicine. Next. Lots of studies are done. If you look at therapy research, 50% of publications come from non-communicable disease research, 20% of it come from research on women health itself, 10% of it come from pain management, and 20% come from rehabilitation. Cardiac, neurological, psychiatric, and others. Next. Whenever you want to bring it into your practice, you will always ask these questions. Should I need one practice or multiple practices? Should there be a disease-specific yoga therapy module? How long and how regularly should I do? And what should be the study which should examine my thing? Next. So this talks about the publications in a graphical manner I mentioned. Next. This is a very old study. I once again, for the sake of scholars, I put this study because you want to do big studies to publish. This is a study done at Vyasa in 1980s, published in British Medical Journal. I want to show you what is that we have measured in this study. Next. Okay, so go back. So I think the one slide is missing. We didn't do any intensive immunological measures or anything in this. We measured peak expiratory flow rate just using a 500 rupees equipment. We measured the medication score. We measured number of attacks in individual. This was measured in such a systematic way we could publish it in British Medical Journal in 1985. Okay, so in the sense research has to be conducted and disseminated or published in a way it is needed. Next. Can yoga also help in immediate relief or immediate effect? One study where we did on bronchial asthma also suggested that yoga-based chair breathing can help in giving immediate relief when they have panic attacks. Next. Diabetes is a very big issue. We had conducted series of studies. Next. Like a pan-India prevalence study clinical trial, which includes a feasibility study, efficacy trial, randomized control trial, as well as mechanism studies. From one study, we could publish around 62 papers. This has been awarded as the best research study in 2017 by American Diabetic Association. It is for the whole world. In the whole world, India and Vyasa could produce one study which was recognized of that stature. This was funded by Government of India. That's the reason all the people connected are there. Next. We worked on two mechanisms. One is something called acute phase insulin release, which is impacted when you have pre-diabetes. When I take any substance like sugar or carbohydrate or anything, the body has to recognize this and immediately it has to respond. Acute phase. If that is affected, then the whole gamut of changes will happen, taking you towards diabetic stage. When we gave yoga to individual, we could demonstrate that acute phase can be reversed. Then you can prevent them going into full-blown diabetes. Next. This is once again avoiding individuals with lots of other mechanisms. Go to the next, which includes understanding the DNA damage in diabetes patients. So this gave an idea that you can prevent DNA damage. You can actually bring in DNA repair mechanism in diabetes patients only with yoga. Okay, so if somebody says that we don't have we don't know the underlying mechanism, absolutely not. We do have enough evidence to suggest that. Next one. So this is a collective image of all the mechanisms in diabetes. Next. So cancer is another area where we are working with MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston in Texas. We had done many studies. I just have one of them. Go to the next. We looked at multiple simple things in cancer. Next. And also looked at various immune mechanisms, inflammatory markers in cancer patients following yoga, which has shown reduction in the inflammatory response. Next one, increase in immune response. For each one of these, there are studies on yoga. These are the standard mechanisms in cancer. If you think that you want to pick any one of these mechanisms, there is one study on them. So you can feel very confident in using. Never say, I can cure cancer. I can do some reversibility in every case. You can help every patient. You can improve the quality of life. You can do many other things. But restrain from making unnecessary claims is my humble submission. Next. You can go to the next. Next. This is one very interesting study I wanted to mention. Like pregnant women, like earlier they had a lot of physical activity. Today, physical activity is reduced. Just give them yoga, everything will be taken care. We have seen the number of cases where there was normal delivery, okay, where the cases of intrauterine growth retardation is minimized, and also individuals, the fetus being healthy, and also mother remaining normal at the end of pregnancy was very well seen. Next. So pain management is certain interest, but what we looked at is, go to the next. Next one is only one condition called migraine. I don't know how many of you have migraine or experience migraine. It's a very dreadful disease. But if you really want to manage migraine, you need to bring in some integrative medicine. Not just one thing can help. This is my personal experience. There can be difference of opinion. I've used Ayurveda with yoga, and I have seen excellent results of reversal in migraine. So integrative medicine works in many areas, not just yoga. Next. Can you go to the next one? These are just some results of that. Go to the next. And this is once again the mechanisms. Why I have put at the end of every condition the mechanisms is, these are the well-known mechanisms. We do have enough evidence. There is something called cortical depression in migraine. It comes like this. It comes like a storm. It comes and disappears. Then you are taken to the deep, painful condition and remains for a long time. Next. This is for researchers who have interest in excitement. Research should never be boring. Okay, if you want to have some excitement, research should also be excitement. We keep doing some studies like this. Only one of that I have put here. We sent a team to Antarctica. So I'm sure, how many of you would like to go to Antarctica if given a chance? Many of you, right? It's wonderful. So for the first time, a yoga study was conducted in Antarctica. Go to the next one. If you can play that, you can reduce the, go back. Yeah. You can, volume you can reduce. Yeah, play that. This is the way Antarctica will be most of the time. You can never predict the weather in Antarctica. Morning it is sunny, afternoon it will be like this, evening it can be different. These are our researchers from my lab. We were sent them to Antarctica. We did this project in collaboration with Defense Research Development Organization. This is the contingent which went to Antarctica. for doing research. India has 2 labs in Antarctica, Bharati and Maitri. And we were really asked to design yoga module for in collaboration with DIPAS, and particularly for 2 conditions. One is for looking at seasickness, because these people from South Africa, they go to Antarctica, which takes around 1.5 months. So the one for sea travel, another was Antarctica stay. So when this was the first time yoga was performed on the glaciers of Antarctica, and it was such a wonderful experience. Go to the next one. Okay, so what it showed was the ability for the body to cope. Stressful situation we talk. In Antarctica, what happens is social isolation on one side and stressful situation. There is a gene called keratin gene, which actually helps in the skin to become thick and hair growth. This was believed to be extincted for thousands of years because we have never lived the way our ancestors were living. In this study, we could see 300% upregulation of this one gene called keratin gene. How body can understand? You just practice yoga, it will fix your problem. That's the beauty. Next. Next one. So, I think these are just some messages for you, why normal people have to practice. You can just go on the slide. Go to the next one. You can use it in many places. We have used it in defense personnel for managing their stress. Next. We have also used, this is yoga for reducing performance-related anxiety in musicians. Next. And in the caregivers, be it in elderly or in rehabilitation, it is very important to take care of caregivers. Next. And of course, I am once again fascinated by sports, yoga and sports, right from 1990s. I had the opportunity of working with the Indian hockey team, which won the gold medal in 1998 Asian Games, Dhanraj Pillai and team. And next one, and also with the Indian swimming team, where we also did a research study on the Indian swimming team, who performed decently, not like Michael Phelps or the schooling. Next one. And this is working with the Japan rugby team, particularly from the University Toyo. I was so surprised to see them, and this is another unit in Ahmedabad. Next. And this is the way forward for all of you. Yoga is an integral part, and bring in that positive lifestyle modification. You want to use it as art of living. And customize yoga therapy for frequency and duration. No one size fit for everyone. Country and culture specific yoga is mandatory. You can have some commonalities, but you have to customize them. Learn yoga therapy from a qualified, certified individual, and move from physical to mental to spiritual planes and leave the yoga way. Next. Go to the next one. This is the total number of publications as on today, close to 9,000. And one happy slide for you. Next one. Out of which around 12% of world literature on yoga comes from this one university in Bengaluru, that is Yasvyasa University. We have little 1,200 publications from this one university. Next. Next one. And I want to just end by giving you this success mantra. Everyone has to be physically strong. You have to be mentally relaxed yet focused. You have to be emotionally balanced, intellectually powerful, and spiritually evolved. Then only there is a meaning of bringing yoga into your life. Next. Next one. The last one, just acknowledgements. So whatever I presented, it belongs to many people. Apart from our collaborators from 35 countries, Yasvyasa has its collaborations from universities across the world, and some of them I listed over here. Credit belongs to each one of them, and I thank each one of you for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's truly an honor and a privilege to extend a heartfelt thanks on behalf of Uttarakhand Sanskrit University and Indian Association of Yoga to Professor Manjunath N.K. sir, Vice Chancellor at Vyasa University, for his enlightening and really thought-provoking keynote address. Sir, your words have not only provided us with profound insights into this yoga as a art and science of yoga, yoga research, yoga education, well-being, but also have inspired us to think more deeply actually. So about its practical application in our academic, professional and personal lives. Your extensive knowledge, deep research, as our chairman, Dr. Kamakhya Kumar sir has already said that you have a very keen interest in yoga research and you have established a very strong base. Thank you so much, sir, for contributing here with deep gratitude. Thank you so much once again. In this sequence, we are actually running late. So, a huge round of applause for Manjunath sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Continue. So, in this sequence, our next expert for this session is Professor G.D. Sharma sir. Professor G.D. Sharma sir is a well-known name in the field of yoga and yoga teaching for personal and professional growth for students. He has spent his almost 70 years of his life to this yoga and in the field of research and education also. So I'd like to invite with a huge round of applause with your support on behalf of Uttarakhand Sanskrit University and Indian Association of Yoga on the occasion of this 11th International Conference. I'd like to call Sir.
audio